Well, hello again. Obviously, it's Connecting Consciousness, but Connecting Consciousness with Kim Kimsley. And those of you members who have participated in getting that wonderful CBD oil, obviously have Kim and the team behind Kim to thank. So what I thought would be really good, as it's been running for a while, we would just take a look in and, see the history, see the journey, see where we were at, and celebrate it, and see if we can squeeze any new little deals out of them for Connecting Conscious members. So first of all, I think everyone knows you, Kim, but just quickly introduce yourself, please.
Hi, Kim Kindersley, and we've been working on all sorts of things, but with the CBD, we've been on this journey for about 4 or 5 years with Michael Lynch and his family farm in Ireland. And I suppose we opened exactly a month ago now it is. And it's, we've just been utterly astounded by the incredible reaction. So much so that we were a bit taken aback, and I want to apologize for any delays in the shipping, but we've now caught up with it, and we're completely organized moving forward with the shipping and fulfillment. And we've been working around the clock, and Mike's been stripping the flower, and an amazing team of people have gathered from the community around the farm. And that's one of the great aspects of this, is that people have now got jobs in the area, and it's feeling really solid and secure. And we're just so delighted moving forward.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, I think everyone will understand with Brexit, and of course, there's been an issue with Ireland. Everyone's aware of that. So there has been delays, and, I think that's understood. We won't mention the person's name, but you told me off air that one of the CC members had actually been on the farm and helped do
Yeah.
the
Oh, that was so. But that's a beautiful aspect of this. We got this wonderful letter from one of the CC members who happened to be one of the volunteers for the harvest, so had experienced for herself actually that this is more than real. It's really vibrant and happening, and so that was really beautiful. And then I discovered quite a few CC members that were friends in other areas of my life. So that part of it's been really heartwarming. And I just feel that it's an indication that this is part of the kind of the growing movement of consciousness on the planet, who believe in sovereignty for ourselves, for our health, and the ability for us to self-organize around farming communities that believe in, doing totally natural growing and natural processing, not just CBD, but all sorts of wonderful different herbal products.
Well, I fantastic. And I mean, we go back a few years, and this would have been totally outlawed and totally illegal. And humanity has fought really hard to just get this far. So it's we always think if the authorities ban something, that it must be worth having. So now that it's available commercially, people have become more aware of it. And back to the original point here was that rather than buying from a very large multinational company, CC wanted to engage with you guys because it's a small family-run farm in Ireland, and that's exactly what CC's about. So I've had some of that oil. It's been really good, and I have we can't make any promises, but I have a very sick cat, and the audience will be familiar with him. He's the white cat, and he has to have insulin injections. Now I've been putting not the frankincense and myrrh one. I've been putting a drop in the other one, and whilst he's not launching himself off the piano, he is actually much more calmer and not so almost arthritic in himself. And so I've noticed something there. It's a great product. We love it, and of course it's a really special deal for CC members. But before we sort of talk more about that, I wanted to hear about the letters that you've had singing the praises of it, because I did say to people, it wasn't meant rudely, I just said I'm too busy at the moment with all that's going on, please write to the main man. So would you like to share some of the feedback, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we wanted to we were blown away actually by the amount of letters that we got back. I mean, extraordinary. And again, everybody was so patient and understanding, you know, so that was really lovely to feel that love coming back to us. But also, I guess the really, really interesting ones, that the main three complaints that people wrote in about were people, sometimes older people who've got arthritis and joint pain.
Oh, right.
A wonderful doctor from Devon, the 77-year-old, wrote in saying that it had had the most profound effect. He's totally pain-free after 10 days of use. So, and that we got a lot of those. And I know for myself, I take it for inflammation. Again, we can't make any medical claims, but my goodness, it helps. And then the second biggest kind of complaint that people wrote in about anxiety and sleeping.
Right.
And it's well known that this particular type of CBD can really help. And again, my own personal experience, but wonderful letters from people on that level. And then I suppose, you know, the other really interesting one that we got quite a few letters about were people who were recovering from the dreaded, it shall not be named, C something, the big thing on the planet right now. The people were writing in saying that they had really been helped with the respiratory aspect of things. So
Wow, that's really
those
good.
were the main three.
How wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, and just so much appreciation for the community around this. The fact that it is the hand harvested, handmade, all chemical, pesticide free. And, you know, with all the regulatory nightmares that come around this, and with Brexit and with the COVID things, you know.
You said the name.
Oh, I didn't. Bloody, I was promised I wasn't going to do it. I said, anyway.
Sure, it's fine.
That's
the official name.
It was, but it was just so, the letters were really beautiful. And it's also the aspect of people talking about the community coming around this. And we are really looking forward to that, having people at the farm, particularly when the hemp fields are really in full sway, and then the harvesting thing, which can go on for really about 4 or 5 weeks. So we can have waves of people. We hope to build up the educational center so that we can bring kids from the inner cities to have possibly their first experience of what it's like to be on a farm, and, you know, to get their feet in the soil and hands in the dirt. And we're designing something where they can grow, learn about the basics of growing food, not just growing hemp, but all sorts of other things. So, you know, this is going to enable us to activate these different cells and use it as a blueprint.
What a wonderful opportunity to bring kids from both Dublin and Belfast.
That's what we're hoping for.
And get them on there. That would be really good.
Yeah, and actually, Michael's got 2 young children. You know, one of them's, I think, Niall's 7 now. And that was one of my favorite things, was hanging out in the hemp fields with him, and just the delight on his face helping his dad do the harvesting. And it's just, it really is a hugely important thing, this, to teach the children about where our food comes from, where our medicine can come from, all of that.
Well, I think that's an interesting point. You quote what you've said. I mean, if one was to speak off the record to most doctors would probably, and I've got quite a few doctors who are friendly, off the record would give the nod and say, well, actually, CBD oil is very good. They would say that, but on officialdom, they would say, oh, no, we don't recommend that. But it's really interesting that when the searchlight or the spotlight's not on them, and the employer is not standing over them, they're far more supportive of these alternative products, actually. And there's your example of the doctor who, you know, this doctor has written into you and said, well, I've been trying that and it's fantastic. Because you would imagine that doctor would have a great knowledge of all of the paid for pharmaceutical drugs that would be available, and yet this doctor's written into you and said, listen, I've taken yours for 10 days and I feel a lot better. So, you know, that we don't have to say anymore, because that sells it. That sells the concept. And like I've said, and part of what CC is about, if the authorities ban something, it must be good. It must be
that's right. Or heavily regulate it, or try and
make it impossible.
Exactly. And then try and synthesize a fake version of it. Indeed. And all of that nonsense. By the way, 6 million prescriptions apparently for anxiety medicine more than this time last year. And as you say, we don't need to say anything. It's self-explanatory, that it really is.
All right, so that's great. So those who have been following the journey are up to date. Those who are brand new are saying, oh, what's this? And we can talk a bit more. Now, you did a really kind special deal for CC. Now, we understand that that deal can't last forever,